For nearly 2 decades, Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban were celebrated as one of the entertainment industry's most admired couples. She was an Academy Award-winning actress with an extraordinary Hollywood career, while he was a country music superstar who captivated audiences around the world. Together, they appeared to have built a relationship that had survived addiction, fame, and relentless public attention. Their marriage became a symbol of resilience, convincing many that genuine love could thrive even under the brightest spotlight. However, behind the glamorous red carpet appearances and affectionate public moments, their relationship faced challenges that few people fully understood. Although they consistently projected unity, years of emotional struggles, demanding careers, and personal battles gradually placed enormous pressure on their marriage. To understand how one of Hollywood's most admired couples reached this point, it's important to look back at the lives they led before they ever met. Nicole Kidman was born in Honolulu, Hawaii, to Australian parents before her family returned to Sydney during her childhood. Growing up, she was far from the confident actress audiences would eventually admire. Nicole was known as an extremely shy child who often struggled to express herself socially. Acting became her escape. Through drama classes and theater performances, she discovered a place where she could communicate emotions that everyday life made difficult. Her dedication quickly became obvious. During her teenage years, she began appearing in Australian television productions before landing film roles that showcased both her elegance and remarkable emotional range. As Hollywood started paying attention, Nicole's career accelerated rapidly, transforming her into one of Australia's biggest international stars. While her professional life flourished, her personal life became equally famous. In 1990, she married actor Tom Cruise, creating one of Hollywood's most recognizable celebrity marriages. Together, they adopted 2 children, Isabella and Connor, and for years appeared to represent the ideal Hollywood family. Yet behind the scenes, the marriage faced increasing strain. Following their separation in 2001, Nicole experienced one of the most painful periods of her life. Beyond losing her husband, she also endured the emotional difficulty of becoming less involved in the daily lives of her adopted children. Friends later described this period as one that deeply shaped her outlook on family, love, and motherhood. The experience left lasting emotional scars and strengthened her desire to one day build a stable family life of her own. Meanwhile, Keith Urban was building a very different journey. Born in New Zealand and raised in Australia, Keith developed a passion for country music at an early age thanks to his father's encouragement. By childhood, he was already performing publicly, displaying remarkable musical talent. While many children dreamed of different careers, Keith devoted himself entirely to music, eventually leaving school to pursue it full-time. His determination eventually brought him to Nashville, where he worked tirelessly to establish himself within the highly competitive country music industry. Success finally arrived with his breakthrough American album, earning him recognition as one of country music's brightest rising stars. But fame also amplified his personal struggles. Keith openly battled addiction throughout the early years of his career. Alcohol and substance abuse threatened both his health and professional future, leading him into rehabilitation before he had fully achieved lasting stability. Despite his musical success, he privately feared losing everything he had worked so hard to build. When Nicole and Keith first crossed paths in 2005, they appeared to come from completely different worlds. She represented Hollywood's sophistication and global fame, while he embodied Nashville's rugged country music culture. Yet beneath those differences, they shared something far more important. Both carried emotional wounds. Nicole longed for security after a painful divorce that had shattered her vision of family life. Keith desperately wanted stability while struggling to overcome addiction and self-destructive habits. Their shared vulnerabilities created an immediate emotional connection. The pair first met during the Day USA Gala in Los Angeles, an event celebrating Australian talent working abroad. Interestingly, Nicole later admitted she initially believed Keith wasn't interested in her because he waited months before contacting her after they exchanged phone numbers. Eventually, Keith made the call. Once their relationship began, it progressed quickly. They spent increasing amounts of time together, discovering common values despite their vastly different careers. Nicole admired Keith's honesty and emotional openness, while Keith found comfort in Nicole's strength, discipline, and compassion. By 2006, just over a year after meeting, they married in a beautiful ceremony held in Sydney, Australia. Friends and family viewed the wedding as a hopeful new beginning for both of them. For Nicole, Keith represented a chance to rebuild the family life she believed she had lost years earlier. For Keith, Nicole became someone who believed in him despite his imperfections and personal struggles. Unfortunately, the honeymoon phase was short-lived. Only 4 months after their wedding, Keith voluntarily entered rehabilitation for alcohol addiction. The news shocked fans who had only recently celebrated their fairy tale romance. Instead of enjoying newlywed life, Nicole suddenly found herself supporting her husband through another deeply personal crisis. Rather than distancing herself, she remained by his side throughout his treatment. Keith has repeatedly credited Nicole's unwavering support as one of the reasons he successfully confronted his addiction during that difficult period. Although they emerged stronger publicly, the experience established an emotional dynamic that would continue throughout much of their marriage. Nicole increasingly became the caretaker, while Keith often relied on her stability during difficult moments. Confirmed those reports, the speculation continued to grow. Even so, they remained committed to protecting their family from unnecessary attention. Their daughters largely stayed away from the spotlight, allowing Nicole and Keith to maintain as much normalcy as possible despite their extraordinary fame. Eventually, however, years of pressure appeared to reach a turning point. Over the following years, both careers continued to soar. Nicole starred in critically acclaimed films while Keith collected Grammy Awards, chart-topping albums, and sold-out tours. Together, they welcomed 2 daughters, Sunday Rose and Faith Margaret, creating the family they had both dreamed of. To the public, they appeared happier than ever. They frequently praised one another during interviews, attended awards ceremonies hand in hand, and spoke openly about their love and commitment. Many fans viewed them as proof that lasting celebrity marriages were possible. Yet maintaining that image became increasingly difficult. Busy filming schedules kept Nicole traveling across the globe, while Keith spent months touring. Despite creating personal rules to avoid spending extended periods apart, their demanding careers often forced lengthy separations. Over time, balancing family responsibilities, professional ambitions, and Keith's continued commitment to sobriety became increasingly complicated. While they remained devoted to each other, the pressure surrounding their marriage slowly began to accumulate. The fairy tale still appeared intact, but beneath the surface, the first cracks had already begun to form. As Nicole Kidman and Keith Urban settled into married life, they gradually became one of the most respected celebrity couples in the world. Together, they weathered addiction, demanding careers, and the challenges of raising 2 daughters while living under constant public scrutiny. To many fans, they represented the rare Hollywood romance that had truly stood the test of time. Yet behind the carefully managed public image, the pressures of everyday life never disappeared. Nicole's acting career continued to flourish with major film projects that often required months away from home. Keith, meanwhile, remained one of country music's busiest performers, spending long stretches on tour across the United States and internationally. Although they made every effort to prioritize family, balancing 2 global careers became increasingly complicated. Sources close to the couple often suggested that their greatest challenge wasn't a lack of love, it was the constant distance created by their professional commitments. Whenever one partner was home, the other was frequently working elsewhere. They reportedly established personal rules designed to minimize long separations, but maintaining those promises became more difficult as their careers expanded. At the same time, Keith's lifelong commitment to sobriety remained an important part of their relationship. Although he publicly spoke about overcoming addiction and credited Nicole's support for helping him rebuild his life, the responsibility of constantly protecting that stability reportedly placed emotional strain on both of them. Nicole naturally became the family's organizer and emotional anchor. Having experienced painful family loss earlier in her life, she valued routine, consistency, and creating a secure environment for their daughters. Keith, by contrast, embraced a more spontaneous lifestyle shaped by years on the road as a touring musician. Neither approach was necessarily right or wrong, but their personalities often pulled them in different directions. Friends reportedly described Nicole as someone who sought structure and long-term planning, while Keith preferred flexibility and freedom. Over time, those differences occasionally created tension within the marriage. Despite these private challenges, the couple continued presenting a united front. Whether attending award ceremonies, film premieres, or music events, they consistently appeared affectionate and supportive. Interviews frequently included heartfelt compliments about one another, reinforcing the public perception that they remained deeply in love. As the years passed, however, speculation surrounding their relationship became increasingly common. Entertainment media regularly published rumors suggesting the couple was struggling with busy schedules, time apart, or disagreements behind closed doors. Both Nicole and Keith repeatedly dismissed those stories, insisting that every marriage required effort and communication. For many years, those denials appeared convincing. Still, observers gradually noticed subtle changes. Nicole occasionally attended major events alone, while Keith focused on touring. Public appearances together became less frequent than they had been during earlier years of their marriage. Although neither addressed the speculation directly, fans began questioning whether the distance reflected increasingly separate lives. According to various reports, the challenges facing the couple were rarely dramatic. There were no sensational scandals dominating headlines or explosive public confrontations. Instead, their difficulties appeared to stem from years of accumulated emotional fatigue. Nicole had spent much of the marriage